For the last year, I found it hard to recommend the Switch 2, if I'm honest. A lack of compelling games, issues with its design, fierce competition from other handhelds. But the thing is, some things have changed. Also, have you seen the Steam Deck prices? Like, what the fuck? So in a nutshell, yes, I've gone to the dark side. I'm now recommending the Switch 2. Sue me, Gabe. So I'm going to break this video down into what I think are the 3 most important things to review after a year of owning the Switch 2. The games, the design and performance, and how it stacks up against the competition. So let's start with the big one. So at launch, the new selection of games for the Switch 2 was pretty bleak, barren, empty, just like the desert of Metroid Prime 4. But I'm pleased to say that a year on, it is a lot better. Now we've got the likes of Donkey Kong, Metroid Prime 4, wasn't that great? Hyrule Warriors, Pocopia, Kirby Air Riders, goddammit. And we've got some huge games coming really soon. We've got Star Fox, Pokemon Wind and Waves, Orbitals, Fire Emblem, Dust Bloods, Wii Sports on crack. And away from Nintendo exclusives, I feel like third parties are really getting behind the Switch 2 platform now. So we're getting things like Kingdom Hearts 4, the Final Fantasy 7 remake trilogy, 007 First Light, Call of Duty, Pragmata, Resident Evil, Onimusha. So it feels like a lot of third parties are going to be aiming for a Switch 2 version, and hopefully it's going to be the norm for a good few years to come. Also, we're seeing some big classics finally turn up to the platform as well, like Metal Refantasio, Final Fantasy 14 Online, Devil May Cry 5. But there's one game on the horizon which just completely changes the conversation for me. Obviously the elephant in the room, the Ocarina of Time remake. Ocarina of Time just is one of the most special games for me, as I'm sure it is for a lot of you. It really is one of the games that got me into gaming in the first place. And the Zelda series as a whole is just an incredibly special one to me. Got a Zelda tattoo on my leg. Made this really lame video about the Zelda music because I just nerd out about that sort of stuff. If I didn't have a Switch 2 right now, I would, without a doubt, be buying one just to play this game. Even if it's bad, I just need to play it. As for what I've been playing this year, I got all the way through Cyberpunk on the Switch, which was cool. Mario Kart World, which I think people hated on quite a bit, but I think it's good. Also recently completed Metroid Prime 4, which was a bit of a letdown, but people do like it. Go and try it if you like those kind of games. I've also been working through some older Switch 1 games that perform better on the Switch 2. Metroid Dread, oh my god, if you've let down by Metroid Prime 4, go and play Dread, it's really good. And that's the other thing, like, although the Switch 2 library hasn't been the most impressive, we've also got to mention that it has the pre-existing Switch 1 library, which is huge, and there's a ton of good games on there, and quite a few of those games are going to look a lot better because of the updated Switch 2 versions, which boost graphics, performance and frame rates, and just all around look so much better. The Zelda updates alone improve performance and the look of things massively, but they do also cost £10 for the upgrade, which is daylight robbery if you ask me. How dare you charge me more for basic performance upgrades? And talking of updates, we have seen quite a significant update to the Switch 2 in handheld boost mode. So this essentially makes Switch 1 games run as if they're being docked when you're using handheld. So that essentially ups the wattage and renders games sharper, closer to the native 1080p screen rather than 720, and in some cases improves frame rates. So games that used to look very blurry in handheld mode, like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, are just way better. Things look a lot cleaner. Although it is worth saying it does drain the battery a little bit faster, but it is an optional toggle, so you can choose as and when you want to use it. So all in all, the game selection I think is looking a lot better from where we were at launch. But game selection means nothing unless they perform reasonably, right? So let's talk about that next. So in terms of the design and the performance of the Switch 2, it's still a little bit of a mixed bag, if you let me explain. So let's be nice and talk about the good stuff first. So it does just feel really premium. Like, it feels a lot less toyish than the Switch 1. The kind of like matte texture to it is really nice. The buttons and the analog sticks all feel very good, and the screen is really good. It's 1080p, so it's nice and sharp and high res. It gets very bright. Colors and the saturation just look really good, and it is a good bit bigger than like the Steam Deck or the OG Switch, which is very nice, although it is a very slow display, as you may have seen from reports. I've never found this to be an issue personally, but you may. The Pro controller is absolutely excellent. Like, honestly, like one of my favorite controllers of all time. And on the whole, the thing just works incredibly well. The whole experience of using it is incredibly smooth and user-friendly. It's just got that Nintendo simplicity thing going on. Obviously, there's no drivers or in-depth graphic settings, but there's also no faff. You just turn it on and play, and everything just works really well. And it may sound obvious, as it's literally in the name, but the ability to be able to switch between handheld and the TV is just so seamless. The second you plug it into the dock, it changes the resolution, wattage, performance settings, which is just something you can't say for handheld PCs. If you've tried hooking up a Steam Deck to a TV, it is a much more involved tinkering experience, as opposed to something like a Switch which just works. Which is great, because for me personally, like over the last year of using it, it's pretty much been 50-50 between docks and handheld. Like, for example, if me and my wife are just chilling on the sofa in the evening, she's watching TV, I can switch into handheld and just be playing while she's like watching Love Island or something. But then when she's out, I've got the house to myself, I'll plug it into the telly and have a much more like big immersive experience, which is so nice to be able to switch between the two. And still in this day and age, like no other handheld really nails the hybrid thing that the Switch does. And then there's the new cool party trick with the controllers in the mouse mode. Honestly, one of the coolest features about it, like you just click it out, put it onto your desk, and it turns into an actual mouse. It's sick. The list of games that support it is reasonable, Metroid Prime 4 and like Cyberpunk being the main ones. And my friend 3D printed me this like Joycon like attachment thing, which is really cool. Ow. It just makes it even more like comfy to use, and you can buy the similar third-party versions, by the way. So now moving on to performance, for a handheld, it holds up well. The fact you can run something like Cyberpunk at 40 FPS with the level of detail in the game is pretty crazy for such a small, slim handheld. And everything I have played on it so far has just looked great, particularly at the first party games, Donkey Kong and Pocopia. They just look amazing. Even though they're more basic graphically games, they look and perform great. I'm pretty sure both of them are up at 60 FPS. And we do, of course, get support for 120 Hertz, which is pretty sick. And as much as I didn't love Metroid Prime 4, the fact that I could play it at 120 FPS on such a small little handheld is really, really cool. Although the list of games that support 120 FPS is very, very short. And it's just such a shame, because there are so many easy to run, simple indie games that could easily hit 120 FPS that are just not supported in the game. Now, this is more on like the developers rather than Nintendo, but it just feels like it's an easy update to implement, I would have thought. Which brings me on to a small gripe in that the amount of games that are locked at 30 FPS. Like, for example, Final Fantasy Rebirth, I've been meaning to play it for ages. I was desperate to play on a handheld, really, because it looks like such a long game. It's going to be a lot easier to chip away on a handheld. It looked a little bit shaky on Steam Deck, so I was hoping that Switch 2 would perform a little bit better. I might be able to push that frame rate up to about 40, like it did with Cyberpunk. But unfortunately, that's not the case. It is locked at 30. I tried the demo, and as much as it did look good, I just couldn't get past that 30 FPS, man. Once you get used to like even 40 or 45, going back to 30 just does feel so sluggish. And quite a few of the games I mentioned earlier, like 007 First Light, are also going to be locked at 30 FPS, and obviously there's no PC, just lower the settings to get a slightly better frame rate option to save you. But look, I understand handhelds running high frame rate AAA games is not going to happen anywhere. I get it. I think I'm just being a bit greedy, and I'm using Cyberpunk as like the bit of a benchmark to think maybe developers would be able to push them up to 40, but yeah, not the case. But you know, there are games like Pragmata which bounce between like 40 and 60, which is a really nice sort of level to aim for. I just wish there was some more games that could tap into that slightly higher frame rate. And for the rest of the niggles I have with the Switch 2, they haven't really changed from last year. You know, like the screen is still very, very fragile. You desperately need to put a screen protector on there. It's obviously not OLED, which feels like a bit of a step back from the Switch 1. The battery isn't the best. You're getting between sort of like 2 and 5-6 hours in my experience. But it's fine, like it does kind of match up to the competition. And lastly, the ergonomics in handheld are just terrible. Like with the extra weight of the Switch 2 and the total lack of any kind of grip, it is incredibly uncomfortable to play for any longer than 15, 20 minutes. But the good news is that's the exact problem that today's sponsor solves. Hi, is your Nintendo Switch 2 lacking girth, chunk, as a wise woman said, a little more booty to hold at night? Then hoo boy, have I got the accessory for you. This is the Hyperion Nixie 3, and they are essentially the Pro Joy-Cons that Nintendo should have made for the Switch 2, and they're essentially just much more comfortable, much more ergonomic. We've got full-size analog sticks, which are also Hall effect, meaning we're not gonna ever get any drift. All the buttons are super clicky and responsive and just feel great. And yeah, just essentially, it's so much nicer to use these than the regular Joy-Cons in handheld mode. Like everything just works just like the regular Joy-Cons. They just snap onto the side like that. We get these cool RGBs on the side, which you can change color and the intensity and loads of cool stuff. Honestly, like, sponsor aside, this is just so much more comfortable to play in handheld. Like, I cannot begin to tell you how much better this is. We've also got 9-axis gyro still, so all of the sort of motion controls you find in games are still usable. Now the Hyperion 3 has been out for a little while, but they've only just released it in this white model, which I just think looks sick, like much more akin to the Switch OLED, which I really liked. And another huge plus to the Hyperion 3s compared to other sort of competitors is the fact that you can snap it into this sort of middle piece and use it like a Pro controller, so you don't actually need to go and buy another Pro type controller. If you're interested in getting one yourself, there is an affiliate link down in the description where you can get 25% off if you're interested in buying one. Also does really help out the channel, so thank you in advance if you do use that link, and a big thank you for Nixie for sponsoring this video and enabling me to make videos like this. So next I want to talk about the Switch 2 in light of the kind of competition, because a lot of things have changed. So for the last couple of years, my advice has been very simple. I have been one of those just get a Steam Deck bro kind of guys, but we have to address the elephant in the room in the massive price increase that the Steam Deck has seen. Prices shot up around 40%, basically overnight, horrifying the handheld community, myself included. So now, for example, in the UK, a base Steam Deck OLED, the cheapest one you can get, is £649, while the Switch, on the other hand, is £369. And I understand there'll be people that say you can't compare them, they're different things, but if I'm giving advice to someone wanting to buy a handheld and there's a 76% difference in price for similar performance, playing similar games, take it with a pinch of salt, it's tough, man. And obviously there is other competition. We've got the Xbox Ally and the Legion Go S, which I think are probably the closest in terms of competitors. And yeah, these are all like good machines, but what used to be like a sort of more straightforward decision now feels a lot more complicated. And it very much is just gonna come down to your personal preferences. Like, handheld PCs still have their advantages. You're going to get cheaper games, no online subscriptions, adjustable settings and performance stuff, mods and emulation. But the Switch has pros of its own, you know, like a way more user-friendly interface. You get Nintendo games legally. It's actually in stock most of the time. Like, you can actually just go out and buy it, unlike the state of the Steam Deck for the last like 6 months. Also, it has physical games, which is a big deal for a lot of people and means you can tap into the used market for cheaper games too. I didn't realise that point was going to be as relevant as expected, but here we are. And one of the biggest advantages that I nearly forgot about was the couch co-op multiplayer experience. Like, I played this with my friends all of the time, and it's another space where the Switch just really does shine. Like, again, we almost like take it for advantage now, but the fact that I can just like pop off this Joy-Con and hand it to someone, and I've got 2 controllers, they will just connect and work. And all the games are designed around a single Joy-Con. Like, that is sick. Like, being able to pop this in my bag and take it to my friend's house and play Mario Party together is honestly the most fun I've had with this thing all year. And you just can't really do that on any other handheld. Now, we can argue all day about what handheld is best. Spoiler alert, it's subjective, but best value handheld? I mean, surely it's got to be the Switch 2, right? Which is kind of crazy because we were all up in arms about how expensive it was just a year ago. So sad times, really. So to put things in a nutshell, I think things are looking a lot better for the Switch 2, 1 year on. I can confidently recommend this to people now, whereas a year ago I struggled to do that. The game selection is just so much stronger. Older games run better. There are more compelling third-party accessories, and the competition has just got so expensive in comparison. It's not my favourite handheld. That still does go to the Steam Deck OLED, but in this economy, it is the easiest one to recommend. Oh wait, the prices are going up in September. Forgot about that. Oh, for